Hey there. You probably have a credit card, or at least thought about getting one. Maybe you think credit card is really nice, or even charity. Imagine using your credit card, swiping it, getting points, discount offers, free plane tickets, and even free hotel rooms from your credit points. Well, do you know that the system is actually still winning? Even after those luxurious gifts, they still profit from you. Well, in this video, we're breaking down how credit cards work, the interest-free trap, how the rewards are bait, how the credit score controls you, and how to use a credit card correctly. So, let's get started. Section 1. How credit cards work. Okay, I think some of you might not even know what a credit card is or what makes it different from a debit card. So a debit card is the card you use to take out your own money from the ATM. You're using your own money directly from your bank account. You can also use a debit card to pay for things, but when you do, the money gets cut straight from your bank balance. Now, a credit card is different. A credit card is also used to pay for things, but instead of using your money, you're borrowing money from the bank. So yeah, if you don't know, credit means debt. Not literally, but close enough. We won't overcomplicate it in this video. For example, let's say you have $1,000 in your bank account, and you want to buy a new phone that costs $1,000. If you use your debit card, you swipe it, and your bank account drops to zero. You used your own money. But if you use a credit card, you swipe it, and your bank account stays the same. You still get the phone, but now you owe $1,000 to the bank that issued your credit card. This is the key part. You have to pay that money back within a certain period of time. If you don't, the bank will charge you interest. That's how they make money. Using a credit card is basically borrowing money, like taking a loan. But it feels fast, smooth, and easy. Also, your credit card usually comes with something called a credit limit. That's the maximum amount you're allowed to borrow. Some people get $500, some get $5,000, some get way more. The more you use it responsibly, the higher your limit might grow. Well, now you might be thinking, wait, isn't a credit card kind of like a charity? They give you a loan, let you pay it back interest-free if you're on time, and even reward you with points. You can get free flights, hotel stays, and all kinds of perks.
Sounds like the best deal ever, right? Well, that's exactly where the trap begins. Section 2. The interest-free trap. You might be thinking, wait a minute, why not just use a credit card, spend as usual, then pay it back on time and enjoy the points? Sounds smart, right? But here's the truth. A large portion of people don't actually pay off their full balance every month, even if they believe they do. Why? Because your bank sends you a credit card bill that shows two numbers, the full amount you owe and the much smaller minimum payment. For example, if you have $1,000 of credit card debt, the bill will list your full debt as $1,000, and the minimum amount you can pay that month may be $25. You can pay the full $1,000, but many people will just pay the minimum, $25. As long as you pay the minimum before the deadline, the bank won't charge you a late fee. That's the trap. The remaining $975 carries over to next month. Interest piles on top, and the cycle keeps repeating. The longer you take to repay, the more interest builds up, and that's pure profit for the bank. And this isn't just theory. When you look at the numbers, you'll see how big the trap really is. In 2025, the U.S. alone has over $1.2 trillion stuck in credit card debt, with average interest rates above 20%. Now, what if you always pay full on time and never fall into debt? Well, it's still not free anyway. Many credit cards charge a membership fee every year just for having the card. Well, not all cards have annual fees, but the fancy ones usually do. That's why banks offer different tiers of credit cards with different colors and benefits. The higher the level, the more rewards you get, and the bigger your borrowing limit, but also the higher the membership cost. And whether you use the card or not, you usually still have to pay that annual fee. Section 3. Rewards are bait. Okay, maybe you're thinking of another scenario. If you're responsible, you pay everything on time, and you cover the annual fee, you get points and other perks like cash back, free plane tickets, and hotel stays. Then isn't that just a smarter way to spend? Maybe it's even cheaper than paying for holidays with your own money. Still free money, right? Well, it's not that easy. Banks aren't handing out free vacations just to be nice.
These rewards are designed to make you spend more, not save more. In fact, many studies show that people tend to spend more when using credit cards instead of cash because it doesn't feel like real money, and the delayed payment sometimes makes it feel like you're not spending at all. You usually get 1 to 2% back, but only after spending money. For example, let's say you buy a phone for $1,000 using a credit card. If your card gives 2% cash back, that means you'll get $20 back. If it's a points card instead, you might earn around 1,200 to 3,600 points, depending on the card's reward rate. Now here's the catch. According to real airline data, a free domestic flight usually costs 15,000 to 25,000 points, and an international trip can go way over 70,000. That's not happening just because you bought an iPhone or went grocery shopping with your card a few times. You'd have to spend tens of thousands or chase bonus offers like it's a side hustle. That's the psychology trap. And the more you swipe, the more profit the banks make, both from you and from the shops through hidden swipe fees. To make up for those fees, stores often raise prices slightly, which means even cash users end up paying extra to support your perks. Section 4. How the credit score controls your life. By now, you probably know that to get a loan, you need a good credit score. That score is like a trust rating. It tells the bank how good you are at borrowing and paying money back. If you've taken loans before and always paid on time, your score goes up. The bank will likely trust you again. But if you miss payments or pay late, your score drops and lenders get nervous. A low score can make it harder to borrow, rent a house, or even get approved for a job. That's why credit scores are a big deal. So, logically speaking, the way to raise your credit score is to show that you can borrow and pay back money responsibly. That means making payments on time and not maxing out your cards. Credit cards are the easiest way to do this, which is why some people get obsessed with them. They swipe again and again, sometimes even for things they don't need, thinking it'll boost their score faster. In reality, you don't need to keep borrowing huge amounts, but the system makes it feel like you should, and that's how many people get hooked. Section 5. How to use a credit card correctly. So, you might be thinking, don't rich people also use credit cards? And yes, many of them do. But here's the difference. Most people use credit cards to spend more. The rich use them to benefit themselves. So, if you don't spend much, aren't really responsible with money, or don't fully understand how to use debt as a leverage tool, like I explain in my video on how the rich use debt to get richer, link in the description, then borrowing should be your last resort, not your everyday habit. And yes, building a credit score can help you get lower interest rates, cheaper insurance, or even make approvals easier. But that only works if you stay in control.
If you want to use a credit card, remember, just use it for something you need. Don't go over your limit and always repay on time so you don't get charged interest. And if you want to start small, you can consider using a no annual fee credit card. It may not have all the flashy perks, but it is more than enough for most people. Credit cards are not rocket science. You just need to know how to use them properly. So, in conclusion, now you know how the credit card system works. Banks are making millions, even billions, while still offering you cash back, free flights, hotel stays, and other perks. How? Because the system is designed to make you spend more while you aren't even realizing it. If you want to use a credit card, remember, always control yourself and your spending, because it's easy to fall into the same trap that most people are stuck in today. And maybe now you'll notice something else. Have you ever seen how aggressively banks push credit cards? Sometimes they're offering them at malls, on the street, even pressuring people to sign up. Ask yourself, do you really think banks are being generous by handing out something that costs them money and gives you free perks? Come on, if they're forcing it on you, it's probably not a gift. Help us keep making videos